Hi, my name's Allie, and I'm going to talk about dealing with abusive adults who are basically unhealed children in adult bodies because they haven't taken the time to heal their child wounds, or they haven't seen that they even have childhood wounds. So these people are the types of people who project their childhood wounds onto other people. And I wanted to disclaim that I'm not coming at it from a professional perspective. This is more of a personal perspective. I did study psychology in college, and I was on that path for a while, but I discovered that I have other passions that I wanted to pursue and other things in my life to fulfill. But I'm also still really passionate about these types of topics and about sharing them with people. So that's why I'm here making this video. So for this video, I wanted to share some thoughts that have really helped me to deal with situations in my life. And these are things that I wish I would have known and understood as a child. But as a child, you can't really, you can't really understand things the way that an adult can. So sometimes as adults, we go back into, things that have happened in our childhoods and try to reprocess them, because a lot of things that happen in our childhoods didn't get processed, which is why they come out in forms of like trauma, in forms of anxiety, and different things, like drawing people back into our lives who were similar to our abusers. So when people are being either physically abusive, emotionally abusive, punitive, shaming, name-calling, raising their voices, yelling, screaming, these are all indicators that this person is not in control of their emotion. And the reason why they're not in control of their emotion is because of their unprocessed and unhealed traumas. Some people behave in a way that is out of control and, they're reacting from a wounded place inside of them. And the wounded place inside of them stems from their dysfunctional childhood. So I'm going to use the example of shaming. So when someone shames you, it's because they're carrying a shame wound from their own childhood and they're projecting it onto you. And this is a completely unconscious thing that people do. The person who shamed you likely had a childhood where they were being repeatedly shamed. So someone who repeats patterns, like dysfunctional patterns like this, have not been able to be self-reflective of their own behaviors and what caused their behaviors. So this is why so many people unconsciously do things like this to other people. But the good news is that once you realize that you were subjected to some sort of abuse or dysfunctional childhood patterns, is that once you realize that, then you can start to open your eyes to, how it affected you and how you may have been affecting other people. So while it does cause a lot of grief in the process of discovering that, okay, there are dysfunctional patterns that I've been, enacting out from my past. But once you realize that this has been occurring and this cycle has been occurring, like, you can have the power to break that cycle, and you can have the power to heal yourself and to become a better version of yourself with so much less drama, with so much less emotional, intense emotional things happening in your life. So what has helped me when I do see an unhealed child in an adult's body is that I picture them as a child because their childhood wounds haven't been processed. And so I kind of see them as a child. Like, when someone is yelling and screaming or reacting or, throwing an adult tantrum, it's helpful for me to see them as a child, not to degrade them, but to be more understanding of the situation. And it takes the scariness out of the situation. And I'm not saying that it's okay, like it will never make it okay for anyone to treat people like that. So if someone is, treating you poorly, if someone is emotionally abusing you or, yelling at you or doing something that is mistreating you, it's definitely best to walk away and not tolerate that treatment, because you don't deserve that. And also, if you tolerate treatment like that from other people, it's going to teach them that it's okay to do that, which it's not okay to do that. No matter what you went through, it's never okay to project that onto other people. So dealing with adults who are behaving in an abusive way, it's always a scary thing. And of course, if someone's being physically abusive, that is a reason to call the police or, to have proper things put in place in order to resolve that situation. And if you know a child, or if you are a child and someone's physically abusing you, I would try to get help right away. I would try to get emotional help if you have realized that you've gone through abuse, or if you're currently going through abuse, get the professional help that you need. And I also wanted to share that there are so many people who just go through their lives repeating cycles and patterns from previous generations who haven't been able to see their own traumas and how they have affected other people and how people have affected them. And there's so many people who don't ever, they'll have kids, or, they'll just go through life and then they'll die without really ever doing any work on themselves. And And I just wanted to say that, you know, if you do realize you've been living a life out of dysfunctional patterns, like, you are able to break that. Like, you do have the power to break that. And really the hugest thing is to realize what has been happening. And these realizations will cause tears, they'll cause grief, you know, like, once you start to get in touch with yourself and realizing that, you know, a lot of, if your behaviors have been coming from like defense mechanisms, or, you know, things from the past that are not really like examples of your highest and truest self, like, it does make you emotional. It does bring you, you know, it's like really raw to look at yourself. So if you are doing this work, I applaud you for doing that, because so many people don't do it. And it does take time, and it takes energy, and it takes effort, and it takes honesty with yourself, and it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to see, you know, what has happened and what is happening, and to make an attempt to remedy that and to improve your life. But it will, like, when you do heal, it may seem like you are going backwards, because things may seem like they're falling apart sometimes. But, you know, if you continue to just do the right thing and to be just honest with yourself, and keep taking steps, you know, to do more healing, to find more self-love, and always like love yourself through this kind of process. When you're doing these kind of realizations, like, you need unconditional self-love, which a lot of us didn't develop the ability to do that. But once you realize you didn't receive that when you were young, it's something that you can create now. And yeah, I want to make a whole other video on, like, you know, how, you know, creating self-love, because it's an emotion that we have to create from scratch for a lot of us, because if we didn't get treated with the unconditional love that we deserve, it's a lot harder to do that for us now. And that's one of the hugest, like, struggles, I think, as an adult who's gone through a lot of things. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video to hopefully help somebody who's going through some realizations that I've been through before, and just that thought process of realizing that, you know, when adults are reacting and being scary like that, it's just really an unhealed child, like an unhealed childhood wound inside of them. So I hope you got something out of this video. This video might have been triggering for people, so just remember, like, I'm not a professional, and please do seek professional help if you are going through something like this. Like, it's really hard to go through something like this alone. No one should go through this alone. So if you are going through the things that I've talked about in this video, please just get the professional help that you need. And sometimes you do have to look a little bit harder for the person to work with who's the right person for you. Like, if you're looking for a therapist, you might have to search for the one that's best for you. And so I really hope you do find that person who can help you with what you're going through. And there's so many people in the world that are willing and able to help. Like, there's so many helpers in this world, and we all deserve help in life. Like, no one can get through life without help from people. So good luck on your journey, and I wish you a beautiful healing journey. And so if you liked this video, please like, subscribe, so that more people can see it, and hope to see you in the next one.